On October 17, 2025, the world's eyes are on the White House, a place that has seen countless historic moments unfold. As President Donald Trump meets Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy at a pivotal moment. This meeting is not just a formality, it's a critical juncture in international relations. This isn't just another diplomatic event, it's a summit with enormous stakes for Ukraine, Europe, and U.S. foreign policy. The decisions made here could reverberate across continents, affecting millions of lives. The timing is dramatic. Just a day after Trump's lengthy call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, the architect of the war, Zelenskyy, is fighting. This adds a layer of complexity and urgency to the discussions. Trump and Zelenskyy's relationship has swung between tension and cooperation, but today's meeting carries new urgency. The stakes have never been higher, and both leaders know it. Trump, fresh from brokering a ceasefire in the Middle East, now claims Ukraine is his top foreign policy priority. His recent successes have given him a boost, but the situation in Ukraine is far more volatile. For Zelenskyy, this is both a huge opportunity and a major risk. He must navigate the complexities of international diplomacy while ensuring his country's survival. He arrives not just as a wartime leader, but as a petitioner seeking weapons and a fair peace process. His mission is clear, but the path to achieving it is fraught with challenges. The backdrop: Ukraine's intensified strikes inside Russia, relentless Russian bombardment, and political turmoil in the U.S., including the recent indictment of Bolton. These events add layers of complexity to an already tense situation. Every word exchanged could escalate the war or open a path to peace. The weight of their conversation is immense, and the world is watching closely. Zelenskyy must secure U.S. support without alienating Trump, who is also engaging with Putin. Balancing these relationships is a delicate act that requires both skill and strategy. The outcome could decide Ukraine's sovereignty and future. The stakes are monumental, and the world waits with bated breath to see what will unfold. Zelenskyy arrives in Washington with a mission that is both urgent and deeply personal. His country is under relentless attack, and he knows that every day counts. He comes with a clear agenda: to secure advanced long-range Tomahawk missiles from the United States, weapons that could dramatically shift the balance of power on the battlefield. But military hardware isn't his only goal. Zelenskyy is also here to enlist Trump's direct involvement in brokering a ceasefire, one that would be favorable to Ukraine, and not just a pause in the fighting, but a real step toward lasting peace. The Tomahawk missiles, if secured, would give Ukraine the ability to strike deep into Russian territory, targeting supply lines, command centers, and critical infrastructure. This could disrupt Russia's war machine and force Putin to the negotiating table, changing the dynamics of the conflict. It's a high-risk, high-reward move. The potential for escalation is real, but so is the chance to finally alter the war's trajectory in Ukraine's favor. Every decision carries enormous consequences for soldiers on the front lines and civilians caught in the crossfire. Beyond weapons, Zelenskyy needs Trump to be more than just a mediator. He wants him to become a true advocate for Ukraine's sovereignty, someone who will champion Ukraine's cause on the world stage and rally international support. Yet, Trump's deal-making style is famously unpredictable. Zelenskyy faces the challenge of convincing him that a strong, independent Ukraine is not only vital for Europe, but also serves America's own strategic interests in the region. The real test is to get Trump to pressure Putin into meaningful concessions, without sacrificing Ukraine's core demands for security, territory, and self-determination. Zelenskyy is walking a diplomatic tightrope, balancing the need for urgent help with the responsibility to defend his nation's principles. Every conversation, every handshake, could tip the scales. The stakes could not be higher. Ukraine's survival, the fate of its people, and the shape of any future peace hang in the balance. The world is watching as Zelenskyy fights not just for weapons, but for the very future of his country. Hours before Zelenskyy's arrival, Trump's 2-hour call with Putin changed the mood in Washington. Before the call, the U.S. seemed open to sending Tomahawks. After, Trump's tone shifted, echoing Kremlin warnings. Putin made it clear, sending Tomahawks would be a red line for Russia. Trump then cited U.S. military readiness as a reason to hesitate, framing it as a matter of national interest. This gives Trump political cover to delay or deny Ukraine's request, avoiding direct confrontation with Putin. Zelenskyy now faces a closed door on critical weapons, reinforcing Kyiv's fear that its fate is being decided without it. Trump's upcoming meeting with Putin in Budapest only heightens these concerns. The risk Ukraine's future could be shaped by US-Russia deals, not Ukrainian interests. As leaders negotiate in distant capitals, the war on the ground only grows more intense and unpredictable. Each day brings new developments, with both sides adapting their strategies in real time. Since August, Ukraine has launched over 50 daring drone strikes deep into Russian territory, targeting the heart of Russia's oil industry. These attacks are designed to cripple Russia's ability to fuel its military operations, striking at refineries and storage facilities that are vital to the war effort. By disrupting fuel supplies, Ukraine is slowing Russian advances on the front lines and creating opportunities to reclaim lost territory. Each successful strike not only damages infrastructure, but also boosts Ukrainian morale and signals to the world that Ukraine can strike back. Ukraine is no longer just defending its borders, it's actively degrading Russia's war capacity, using innovative tactics and technology to level the playing field against a larger adversary. In response, Russia has escalated its air campaign, launching hundreds of drones and missiles at Ukraine's energy infrastructure. These attacks are relentless, aiming to weaken Ukraine's resolve and ability to fight. The goal is clear: to plunge Ukraine into darkness and cold, punishing civilians and breaking their resistance by targeting power plants and critical infrastructure during the harsh winter months. The war has become a contest of resilience and industrial capacity, fought not only in muddy trenches, but also in power plants and repair stations. Both armies and civilians are locked in a daily struggle to maintain basic services and morale. For ordinary Ukrainians, daily life is shaped by the constant threat of attack and the ongoing struggle for basic necessities like heat, electricity, and food. Families shelter together, communities support one another, and resilience becomes a way of life. The conflict now touches every aspect of life, from children attending school in bomb shelters to families rebuilding amid rubble. In this war, survival itself has become a strategic objective, and the spirit of the Ukrainian people is tested every day. In Ukraine, Trump's planned summit with Putin in Budapest sparks deep anxiety. Many fear their fate will be decided by the US and Russia, echoing a history of being sidelined in great power deals. The worry: Trump, eager for a diplomatic win, might pressure Ukraine into a ceasefire that concedes territory or favors Moscow. Trump's optimistic talk after his Putin call only fuels suspicion in Kyiv. Ukrainians remember past negotiations where their voice was ignored. The question: will Trump see Ukraine's struggle as a fight for survival, or just another deal to be made? As diplomacy unfolds, Washington is rocked by the indictment of John Bolton, Trump's former national security advisor, on serious federal charges. Bolton, a fierce Trump critic, claims the charges are politically motivated, a weaponization of the Justice Department. The timing, amid high-stakes Ukraine talks, has ignited fierce debate. Critics call it an abuse of power. Supporters say the case began under the previous administration and follows standard procedure. Regardless, the case injects chaos into a moment demanding unity. For Zelenskyy, this domestic turmoil threatens the reliability of U.S. support. Allies and adversaries alike question the stability of American policy. In Washington, foreign policy and domestic politics are inseparable. To understand today's events, a few key terms matter. Tomahawk cruise missiles, long-range GPS-guided weapons that would escalate the conflict and cross a Russian red line. Ceasefire, more than just a pause. Zelenskyy wants a deal that restores Ukraine's sovereignty and territory, not a frozen conflict. The Bolton indictment charges under the Espionage Act, a law often at the center of political controversy. Bolton claims political persecution. The government insists on impartial law enforcement. The war of attrition. Both sides aim to wear each other down. Ukraine targets Russian oil. Russia attacks Ukraine's power grid. These concepts shape the language and stakes of the conflict. The Washington and Budapest talks are about more than borders. They're about power, law, and survival. Beyond the headlines, the war's human cost is staggering. For Ukrainians, every diplomatic move could mean life or death. The latest Russian attacks left families in darkness, without heat or water. The Gaza ceasefire offers hope, but rebuilding there shows how hard recovery will be for Ukraine. A frozen conflict isn't true peace. Ukrainians want justice, accountability, and restoration. The psychological toll is immense. Healing will take generations. Zelenskyy negotiates with these human stories in mind, seeking both protection and a just peace. The world faces a moral choice: end the war quickly, or secure a peace that lets Ukraine rebuild in freedom. As the White House summit ends, Ukraine's future hangs in the balance. Zelenskyy must project strength, maintain his people's trust, and persuade an unpredictable ally. The upcoming Trump-Putin summit in Budapest could bring real peace or compromise Ukraine's interests. The world is watching. Will Trump hold Russia accountable or push Kyiv to concede? Zelenskyy's military gains give him leverage, but he must turn battlefield success into diplomatic strength. The search for peace is a test of international order and the principles of sovereignty and alliance. While leaders deliberate, Ukrainians wait, hoping for a future of reconstruction, not more destruction.